Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine you've just got this highly curated briefing, top global headlines, just from one day, July 31st, 2025.
Right.
And this isn't just, reading the news. We're going deep. What's really significant? What connects all these events? And crucially, what does it all mean for you?
Yeah, and what's really fascinating here is how even just that single snapshot, those 10 headlines, they can reveal so much about the underlying currents shaping our world.
Uh-huh.
From economic shifts to geopolitical tremors, and even those sudden big global events. Our mission really is to pull out those key nuggets of insight for you.
And we're working from a pretty powerful summary here. It's the day's top headlines, sourced directly from Reuters, actually via ChatGPT. So it gives us a concise but still detailed look at what's happening globally.
Good base to work from.
Definitely. So let's dig into the economic landscape first. We're seeing some, really complex moves on the global chessboard, particularly with trade dynamics.
Right.
On one hand, you've got the U.S.-China trade talks. They actually extended their truce.
Yeah, that meeting in Stockholm, 5 hours, wasn't it?
Over 5 hours, yeah.
Yeah.
And they delayed tariff escalation. The deadline was August 12th.
Yeah.
So this kind of paves the way for maybe a Trump-Xi summit later in the year.
Potential, yeah.
But then on the flip side, you've got Trump's tariffs escalating elsewhere.
Yeah.
India, for example, just got hit with 25% tariffs. And Canada, South Korea, they're also facing new duties. It's all tied to those ongoing trade deadlines and, his policy shifts. How do these things kind of fit together? They seem contradictory.
Well, the key takeaway, I think, is that these tariff actions aren't just abstract policy. They have really tangible, immediate impacts, on global supply chains, national economies.
Right.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, think about China's factory activity. It weakened. The PMI, the Purchasing Managers Index.
That key manufacturing indicator.
Exactly. It fell to 49.3. And anything below 50, that signals contraction. So the world's factory is actually shrinking a bit.
So when the world's factory is slowing down, what does that really tell us about the overall health of the global economy? And what's driving that slowdown in China specifically?
It makes you think, doesn't it? How do these trade tensions plus internal economic challenges in China, like, softening export demand, that persistent overcapacity issue, how does that ripple out? It's not just a domestic Chinese problem. It hits everything from demand for raw materials globally to the price you pay for consumer goods.
And it's not just countries feeling these shifts, is it? Major companies are reporting some pretty significant impacts, too.
Absolutely.
Take Rio Tinto. They just recorded their smallest profit in 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, first half earnings dropped 16%, down to $4.81 billion, mostly because iron ore prices slid about 15%. And they cut their dividend, too, lowest in 7 years.
That's a big hit.
It is. And similarly, look at HSBC. Their profit collapsed. It's linked directly to their exposure to China's troubled property sector and some regional bank losses there.
Right. A 26% plunge.
Exactly. And it's actually speeding up their global restructuring efforts.
Yeah.
What does it tell us when these huge financial giants are so directly affected by very specific regional problems like that?
Well, digging into that a bit, what's really clear is just how interconnected things are. The health of one specific sector, like China's property market, can directly whack a global financial giant.
Yeah.
And you see this reflected straight away in investor sentiment, too. Investors are resetting their bets. The dollar, for instance, just posted its first monthly gain of 2025.
Interesting.
Yeah, and those bearish wagers, basically bets that the dollar or markets would fall, they've collapsed. So that signals a pretty big shift in investor confidence. Meanwhile, the euro's weakening, and emerging market stocks are definitely feeling the pressure.
But it's not all doom and gloom on the corporate front, right? There are some outliers, which kind of shows how complex the market is.
Sure.
British American Tobacco, BAT, for instance, their profit actually beat estimates.
Oh.
Yeah, mainly due to strong U.S. sales and, interestingly, growth in their smokeless products. And that boosted their global outlook, even with all these tariff pressures swirling around. What does a success story like that tell us about maybe market resilience?
Yeah, that's a good point. The implication there, I think, is that resilience isn't always about just a broad economic recovery. It can be about smart strategic positioning. What we're seeing is that companies or sectors with strong domestic demand, maybe, or unique product offerings like Bavadi's smokeless stuff, they can become these unexpected safe havens.
Right.
So it suggests that even when things slow down globally, investors are still finding specific niches that offer stability, maybe even growth. Adaptability is key, really.
Okay, so shifting gears now away from the boardrooms and the trade routes,
Correct.
let's turn to the intense human and political pressures. These are escalating in some really critical regions.
Yeah, unfortunately.
We're seeing reports. Major Israeli rights groups have accused Israel of genocide amid worsening starvation in Gaza. The UN is warning of a, quote, worst-case scenario famine. The death toll reported is now over 60,000. These are obviously deeply troubling reports. We're just relaying what the sources say here.
Of course, stark warnings.
And in response to some of this pressure, the UK government has stated it will recognize Palestine unless a Gaza ceasefire happens. Prime Minister Starmer has vowed support for Palestinian statehood at the UN.
But it's conditional.
It is conditional, yes, contingent on Israel ceasing hostilities, halting annexation, and crucially, committing to peace talks.
And if we connect that to the bigger picture, it really underscores the increasing international pressure, doesn't it? And the diplomatic shifts happening because of this ongoing humanitarian crisis.
Yeah.
It's not just about one conflict zone. It reflects this evolving landscape of international diplomacy and that growing global demand for, well, for humanitarian action.
Then, beyond all the economic charts and the political maneuvering, sometimes the biggest shifts just come straight from the Earth itself.
Nature's reminder.
Exactly. On this same day, July 31st, there was a massive earthquake. Magnitude 8.8 off Russia's Far East, in Kamchatka.
8.8, wow.
Yeah. It sparked tsunami warnings right across the Pacific, actually prompted evacuations in Hawaii.
And what that really highlights is the immediate and often just devastating disruption that natural forces can cause, right?
Absolutely.
An earthquake of that size, even if it's far offshore, it can directly impact critical infrastructure, shut down ports, disrupting trade routes, immediately divert global aid efforts. It just reminds us of the raw power of the planet and how fragile our own systems can be.
So after diving into all of that, just from one single day's headlines, what does this all mean for you listening in?
Well, it's genuinely fascinating, isn't it? How these events that seem so separate, you know, a company's earnings report, a trade negotiation halfway across the world, a humanitarian crisis, a natural disaster, they're actually all threads. Threads in the same really intricate tapestry of global affairs. And understanding them not just as isolated incidents, but as interconnected forces. That's really key, I think, to making sense of our complex world.
Yeah, it really does underscore how quickly the whole landscape can shift.
Yeah.
And how profoundly different events, even really distant ones, can influence each other, often in ways you wouldn't immediately expect.
Exactly, which brings up an important question maybe for your own understanding of the world. How do these individual sort of nuggets of information, when you put them together like this, how do they reshape your perspective on the bigger picture? Do they show you connections you might have missed before?
Yeah, that's the key question. So as you go forward, maybe consider how understanding these kinds of top-tier global developments can help you better navigate, maybe even anticipate changes in your own world, whether that's understanding market trends better or thinking about geopolitical stability, or even just seeing the subtle ripple effects of faraway events on your daily life. What connections will you keep looking for as new headlines emerge each day?